keep it real with ya.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mina, back with another video. Still have the thingy on my head from the last video, but I'm gonna do some of my hair and talk about my hair. So, okay, I put the mic down in front of me. So like I said in my last video, I bought this on Amazon. It goes up like this, but I just pull it down, so that I could walk around with something on my head. It's actually more of a sleeping cap, but it did say on Amazon that you could wear it outside, so that's what I'm doing. Um, because I twisted my hair. If you weren't on Instagram, then you didn't see, but I was able to do some twists in my hair. I was able to do two flat twists in the front, and it's been like that for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. So I got a lot of new growth, and it looks the way it looks. And I'm just gonna take it down. I'm gonna take it down and see what it look like. Um, I have an appointment on Monday with a therapist, a black woman therapist. So we'll see how that goes. But the literal purpose of me talking to her is to talk about hair. So let me take this off. Let's see. I love how it all pushed back. So as you can see, it's all kind of scrunched up because I wore it in the thing. And this is what it looks like after 2 weeks, like this. And honestly, to me, it's not that bad. I would say like the support that you guys gave me on the other video when I actually like took my hair down and was like messing around with it. I really appreciated that. It was very, very helpful for me because I have so much shame. I have so much shame when it comes to my hair because I just, it's 4C and I grew up with a very impatient a parent who didn't have the energy to do anything to my hair other than force me to get perms and then do stuff with that. I think I said this in the other video, but like I even had a time where I was seeing a family friend who was like, "Yeah, I could totally do your hair natural, da da da." And after seeing her a couple times, she convinced me to get a perm. She told me it wasn't a perm. Yeah, she told me that it wasn't a perm. She told me that it was just, she said it was a texturizer or something that was just going to help the texture of my hair and make it more manageable, but it wasn't a perm, it wasn't any chemicals. And it, I'm pretty sure, and now y'all can correct me, because if I type in texturizer, let's see what that says to me. Chemical product that makes curly hair less curly and more manageable. How is this different from a relaxer? There isn't a ton of difference between natural hair texturizer and a relaxer because both come from chemical components. So yeah, she told me that a texturizer was not chemicals, was not a perm, it was not a relaxer, it was just um something to help kind of like make my hair more manageable, which does kind of align with that. But the thing was that she said it wasn't chemicals. And I realized after the first or maybe even second time that she was lying and that there were chemicals in it. And I didn't want chemicals in my hair. And in order to come back from that, I had to literally grow out my hair again, my natural thick hair, and cut it off just like I have to do with perms. Because if my perms could only last like a month at a time or less because of how thick my hair was, texturizers weren't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Huh, cold. I know y'all said in the last video that I needed more moisture in my hair, so I'm going to use this leave-in conditioner to just go through and like moisturize it before I take out the twist. I have no idea what it's going to look like because I it's not twisted all the way to the scalp. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that was very frustrating for me to realize because again, I didn't want chemicals in my hair. I just didn't, it was just a thing that I felt like I didn't want to happen. And she did it anyway. It was just like when I go to people and I say, can you do natural hair? Can you do thick hair? And they're like, yeah, totally. They'll tell you that they can do stuff all day long and then turn around and no, they can't. But then by the time you figure out they can't, you've already paid them a deposit and they're not letting you leave without paying them the money for their work. even if their work was something terrible and not what you had all asked for. Hate it. But yeah, so I was not happy about that at all. And I'm not happy about the fact that when I move, I would have to find another stylist, because all the stylists so far I've been seeing in the areas where I'm planning to move to are the ones that you always hear about. You know, that they want the deposit. Your hair has to be washed and blow dried. You damn near got to come in with your head already done, and then they just like rub some stuff on it and then be like, boom, you're good. I don't want to be beholden to that. I don't want to feel trapped. I don't want to feel like, oh, I have to go to this stylist because nobody else is going to um, do my hair. I don't want to feel like that. So these are actually, see, these are actually the only two flat twists I was able to do. And that's because I had already went through and did like the back of my head first and then I landed on the front. And the first time I tried to do flat twist, I almost cried, and I called my stylist and I was like, I want dreadlocks, I want dreadlocks. I can't do this. And I was just very, very upset about that. But the second time I was able to do it, it's not clean or neat because I struggled with like orientation. So like if I'm looking in a mirror, I can't think in my mind like, oh, I got to do the reverse of whatever it is that I'm looking at. Like me having to know left to right while looking in the camera. I don't know left to right. Um, so that was a stressful thing for me. So yeah, so Monday, right before my regular therapy session, I would be seeing not a black hairstyle. I'd be seeing a black therapist who has had natural hair since she was 6 years old, and her hair looks like mine in terms of thickness. And so she is going to talk to me about like what she does to maintain her hair. She's going to give me some tips. It is telehealth, she said, but you know, if we feel like we need to see each other in person, we can like work something out. She happens to be my therapist's best friend. My therapist's best friends are all therapists as well, which I think is hilarious, but also really cool. Maybe they met in therapy school. I don't know, but I'm hoping that'll go well. I do struggle um, with, how do I say this? I haven't had the best experience with Black people when it came to mental health. So I do worry sometimes, but the fact that she's my therapist friend tells me that she knows trauma and she can help me through that. Because my biggest struggle has always been like I never touched my hair. Like I said in another video, I never saw my hair because it was always like I was always told like it's too thick, it's unmanageable. We can't do anything with it. It has to be permed. And because of how my hair is, my hair would resist the perms. Like my hair did not give a fuck about how strong that perm was. Like I even was natural all throughout college. And then when I graduated, I linked up with a black woman from who is an alumni of my college to kind of help me get a job and help me with connections. And she sent me to her stylist, and her without telling me anything about what he was gonna do, he just straight permed my hair. Never asked for permission. He just straight permed my hair. And then just did whatever style he wanted to, which my friends, well, my ex friends, immediately laughed at me when they saw me with that hairstyle that old black man gave me. And I immediately combed it out because I was so embarrassed. Um, because that's sometimes what happens. Like you go in there and they think they can do whatever they want to you, and you don't get a chance to have any type of input because they think they know what's best for you. And so I want to learn how to maintain my own hair so that if I run into a situation where, hey, it's been 2 months and I haven't been able to find a stylist, that's okay. I can do my own hair until I find a stylist. Or if I end up going to another country, like say I want to live in Japan for a year, I want to live in Mexico for a year, um, I don't have to die trying to find some African person who can braid my hair as tight as possible. um, because let's be honest, some of these African people they got grip, and I don't need grip. Okay, I'm not exactly tender headed, and the therapist that I'm going to see, she said that she's tender headed. That's why she had to do her own hair. I'm not exactly tender headed, but I do like my hair does not respond well to being gripped really hard and twisted really tight to the scalp. It doesn't. So I don't want to run into a situation like that. And I've had my hair done by Africans before, and they just 8 hours in a chair and I still look crazy. Um, but it's just hard, man. And another thing that I was talking about with my therapist was very frustrating for me is that I just feel like this is something that I should already know. I feel like all the Black women I know, they either have a stylist that they see and they rely on, they have a family member, they have a mom, a cousin, somebody who can do their hair, or they um know how to do their hair, and they're looking at me like, it's so easy, why can't you do this? And it's so frustrating for me, because I just, like I said before, like I have very severe, uh what is it, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I have very severe trauma around fucking everything. There ain't a thing out here that don't give me some kind of trauma trigger, and it frustrates me because I want to be more like resilient. And my therapist was telling me, like, you are resilient. She's like, with your level of trauma, the fact that you're even alive right now. And I was like, hey, you're right about that, because the bitch was not planning on being here. And she was like, the fact that you're even alive right now shows your resilience, because people with your level of trauma easily would have pieced out by now. And I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. A few years ago, I was like, man, life too hard. And I was like, now I'm not in a state where I'm constantly being triggered. Because I'm no contact with my family, so I'm not in a state where I'm constantly being triggered. And she's like, yeah, so you're surviving. And I'm like, I'm sick of surviving. I'm sick of always having to fight and survive and learn all these things. Like, I understand that I'm mature in some areas, but it's because I had no choice. Ain't nobody gonna teach me about taxes. I had to do it on my own. I had to learn it myself. Wasn't nobody gonna teach me how to put fluids in my car. You know what men do? They just do the stuff. They don't try to teach you, because in their mind, they're like, you a woman. You don't need to know how to do this. I'm just gonna do it. They just do it. They don't teach you. So I had to learn how to put the fluids in my car. I had to learn to go and check if I had enough oil in my car. You know what I mean? Like, I had to go and do that. I had to learn my renter's rights for when I am, trying to find a place to stay. I have to know all of that because I have to, not because I was just like, I want to be a jack of all trades, and I want to know everything about auto mechanics, and I want to be a scientist and know everything about neurobiology and the brain, and go in there and tell the doctor what they gonna do. That was not the plan. See, I could have had a support system of people who are willing to help me and guide me through that. And that's the most frustrating part about the hair situation, is that most people learn how to do their hair from a family member. And I don't have that. Like, I'm 5 seconds away from telling people, I don't have parents. You know what I mean? But I don't want to be offensive. Like, they're not dead, just dead to me. But it's like, that's the thing. And it's like, my frustration is that I don't want to put the expectation on someone who's not my family to give me the love and support that a family member would give, because I don't think that that's fair. I don't think that it's fair for me to find somebody and be like, you're my friend, but now I need you to be my mom for a minute. I don't think that's fair. And so I don't do that. But when I'm talking to my therapist, the biggest thing that she says is like, a lot of people think that you got to love yourself before you can let someone else love you. How you going to love yourself? You don't know what love feel like. You see how she just be dropping this shit on me? She just be dropping shit on me. I'm like, damn, you spitting? Okay. You right. Um, and it's just like that. But it's just like, it's just weird to go into a relationship or a friendship and be like, all right, you're gonna be the one to heal me. You're gonna be the one to love me in the way that I'm supposed to be loved, so that I can heal from my childhood traumas when I wasn't loved the way that I needed to be loved. Or you're gonna be the one that's gonna have the patience to sit with me and work with me through all of these different issues that I'm having with my hair or my fashion or my body and all of that stuff. Oh, I forgot this one. And I don't want to do that to somebody, because I've been the person who has had a bunch of expectations placed on them to fix things. Like, literally, I was born because my dad thought it would make him stop beating my mother and siblings. He thought that him having a daughter, a biological daughter, because I also had a sister, but it wasn't his. He thought him having a biological daughter was going to make him nicer, was going to make him be nicer to his wife and kids and stop abusing them. That's what he thought. And then I come in and I got the same mouth and attitude that he do. And now he all mad. And I'm like, and I knew something was off. I knew something was off. But as a child, you kind of know something is not right, but you don't have like the know how or the wisdom to be able to call it out. And I knew something was off, but I didn't know until later when my mom was like finally honest with me about what he thought about having a daughter. Because I was looking at my dad like, I'm like, bro, you about 5 kids in. You about 4, 5 kids in. Why is you trying to have another kid? You can't even take care of the ones you got. Like I was like, you don't even like your kids. Why did you have another kid? And my mom was like, well, he thought if he had a daughter, da 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 da. And I'm like, mm. So I don't want to do other people like that. I don't want to treat other people like that and make them feel like they're obligated to do things for me. I do feel like there needs to be utility in relationships. Like I can't just be with you for no reason. Like we got to enjoy each other's company or something. Like I can't just we're just friends just cuz. But also it's like I just don't want to put unfair expectations on someone else. And so it frustrates me because I missed out on so many things that even other kids in my family had. Like there was kids in my family that was like 10 years old laying their edges and shit. Like I missed out on that because the I didn't have the level of patience and understanding that it would have took for me to develop these crucial skills. Like even things about like learning how to cook. I had an older black woman tell me that if you don't know how to cook as a black person, then you are rejecting your blackness. Like cooking is just some intrinsic thing, but no, it's not. It's a cultural thing. In a lot of cultures, it's a cultural thing. But it was just like for her to have that kind of idea about you, not knowing that you might have come from a background where you couldn't learn how to cook because y'all didn't always have food, or you couldn't learn how to cook because all of your food was boxed food. You see what I'm saying? And it's just like people don't understand that. And it's so frustrating when I get judged by black people for not knowing how to do certain things or not carrying myself in a certain way. And it's because I have all this trauma and I don't want to have to explain to everybody, like, oh, I have all of this trauma. So please be nice to me when it comes to XYZ. Like, I don't want to do that. But, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to be looked down upon like that. You know what I mean? And judged because, as my therapist has told me, I am surviving. Now, again, for those of you who are watching me and you're probably cringing and you're probably thinking, like, oh my God, she's doing a terrible job. Your hair looks awful. Don't do this. Don't do that. As I said before, the DMs are open. The Discord is open. Feel free to come in and tell me, like, hey, do this, do that. Because I don't fucking know. I'm just pulling my hair out, I guess. I don't know. Um, I will say after the other video that I did, oh, look, it's 20 minutes. I will say after the other video I did, um, where I was trying to find a style for my hair for the night, I also, for the first time, I washed my hair in the shower and I used a deep conditioner and it changed the game because the amount of hair that I pulled out in the last video where you saw my hair is not, it was a ridiculous amount of hair that came out of my head and it is because it was dry. But the the amount of hair that came out when I deep conditioned my hair and then split it into sections, I split it into 6 sections instead of 4. The amount of hair that came out when I did that was so small and like negligible that I was like, oh, I see. I see what people are talking about now. I see the magic of having conditioned hair. Um, yeah, so I'm learning as I'm going, and hopefully I'm able to do a good amount before my move in the summer to a new city. And I hope that I'm able to learn a good amount from the black therapist who's going to teach me about hair. Oh, that doesn't look good. Hmm. What do I do with this? Do I brush it? Because I don't have a, well, I have a detangling brush. But if I do the detangling brush, it's going to turn into a poof. It won't be curly. So I'm not exactly sure what else I should be doing here. Also, another thing to note, guys, the camera that I have, the computer that I have has really bad like digital quality. So what y'all are seeing is not what I'm seeing. My camera, when I'm looking at myself, I'm a lot darker than what you guys see when I finally like upload the video. So if there's something where you're like, oh, if you could just see it right there, da da da, I may not like, even with my hair, like it looks very dark in most areas. So it's kind of hard for me to distinguish and be like, oh, that area right there. Um, it's only when I'm editing it on another computer with better graphics that I'm able to be like, oh, but the video's already been done. So it's kind of like, ah. So yeah, I don't have a guide on how to do my hair like this. I'm just literally I just took down those twists and I am finger detangling my hair, and I'm gonna leave it like this. I might try to do like a big twist or something just for next week. But I just wanted to explore. I just wanted to see like what I could do, spend some time with my hair. Yeah, I definitely feel the lack of moisture here, but can't go wrong with Aunt Jackie's, can you? Okay. Something. Okay, y'all. Thank you so much for like talking this through with me, watching me mess around with my hair. As I go through this journey of trying to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do with this hair. Um, like I always say, guys, make sure you take care of yourself because you deserve it. Drink your water, eat your food, take your naps. Can't nobody nap for you, so you gotta do the napping. And also, napping is a fun way of dissociating. You don't want to deal with your problems? Take a nap. I support Venus supports you napping. But yeah, just enjoy the rest of you guys Sunday, and I will see you next week. Bye.